really came across you, I think on AdWords,
Okay.
and I saw you because like I think I was just checking in on my AdWords, and I was like, oh, cool, another guy popped up, and then I checked you guys out, and I was like, oh, dude, this website is sick.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, and I was like, all right, this is like I've seen a lot of people pop up, and some people, I would say like they either like steal like pretty much the whole website like verbatim, or
Yeah.
or they they'll like kind of pull pieces together. But like when I saw yours, it was like it was very unique to you guys, and the programming and like the functionality was really solid. So I was like really impressed with what you guys did, and I just wanted to like commend you for that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah,
dude. And, so tell me. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I knew you guys before I actually created the website. So when I was doing, so I've been doing the e-commerce kind of video stuff for a while. And whenever I've sort of come across video production companies, you guys were the only one that had a similar sort of messaging in terms of video ads that convert and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, you guys were definitely popping up a lot, probably on AdWords as well when I was building the site, which was really interesting. But yeah, so how are you guys getting on? Like where are you at in terms of business and stuff at the moment? Is COVID affecting you a lot? Is it kind of not affecting you, or?
Yeah, I think that's I mean, the whole world is being affected by it, positively or negatively. We definitely took a hit for a couple months, like a month or two. We had to shut down the doors. We couldn't let any actors in or anything like that. We did have to lay off temporarily, furlough some people. We were still like producing in-house actors, like, I mean, just our team, we weren't, but like things slowed down a lot for us, almost to a standstill. But I think it was a really good opportunity to just kind of take a step back from the business, because we're always go, 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 even the team is go, go, go. And it allowed for us to reflect on one, just kind of assessing where the company's at, in terms of like the existing systems and processes that we have in place, like questioning that, finding out all the leaks in the bucket, so to speak, like filling in those gaps. And then it just allowed me to take some time away from the business and start to network with other people in the industry who I, never knew existed, because, when you're so focused and lasered in on just getting the job done, you tend to neglect what's happening around you. And I think for the long time, I just kind of like stayed in my lane. I was like, okay, like, just get the job done. Like, we're always kind of like playing catch up, I feel like, because it's very like labor intensive, like business. And so what it allowed me to do is just kind of take a step back and look at it more like holistically. Okay, like who's doing what, in what area. This person's really good at branding. This person's really good at UGC. This person's really good at Amazon or whatever it is, and then I started to connect with all these different creatives, and just got really inspired to learn more about what they're doing and get my team to start, researching on their own and building their own kind of like network and expanding their horizons, because it's like, if you're not constantly trying to, break the box apart and pull it apart, and you're just comfortable with the box that you built, like you're never going to build a bigger box or even turn it into something bigger than a box, right? And so that was kind of like the aha moment for me when I was able to like take time away from the business and like, talking to you guys at like Welling Media, Chandler's, we connected really well. Yeah, and then like joining a Facebook ad creatives group, seeing all the different creatives and talented people in there. Like, 1 second, someone's calling me. It was just like so inspiring, because I was like, man, we're not the only ones doing this. You know what I mean? There's so many people doing this, and you just have to be humble about that and be grateful that you're even part of it. And that's kind of why I reached out, because I was like, look, I used to see like competitors as like a threat, and that's just me being honest. But now I've been trying to see competitors as opportunities to learn and grow and add value to each other and, help each other out. Because like I realized the energy that you're putting forth against people you may be butting heads with is like not the productive energy that is helpful for your business and your team, So
I completely agree with that. I think I've always tried to greet competitors with open arms as well, just because I think personally for me, on a personal level, if I was always to see competitors as a threat, I think I'd be burnt out constantly. It just wouldn't be a healthy headspace. And at the end of the day, we're all just trying to create a nice lifestyle for ourselves, create a business, create something bigger than ourselves. And all these people that are heading up these businesses, like yourself, we're all doing the same thing, really. And I think the market's big enough for us to share. And we might not actually ever meet directly in terms of a client picking one over the other, but it's just, yeah, I completely agree with that. It's nice, it's been refreshing to hear someone have that mindset as well, because yeah, there's a lot of people I meet that aren't in that sort of headspace, and that definitely, yeah, feels like you have friction with them when you chat. So no, it's good to know.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's not nice as well. Like you don't want that. And I you know, I'm a very sort of not spiritual person, but you know, I look after myself. I look after my physical health, mental health, and you know, I don't really like the sort of negative energy that comes with clashing heads with someone. So I always think it's more productive to see where things can go and grow and stuff like that. So yeah, I absolutely, completely subscribe to that mindset. It's, yeah, nice to hear you have the same one.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to ask is, so I've always been fascinated by, so you guys obviously you've got a warehouse space and you've just decked out the whole thing with different sets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find that in terms of variety and like from the cost point of view? Do you find it's quite high cost to like constantly swap in props and new set designers and stuff like that, or do you find it's quite cost efficient now that you've set it up?
Oh, definitely cost efficient. You know, we're super fortunate to have you know, our in-house. We have a full-time like fabrication, pretty much like a builder.
Okay.
You know, we brought him onto the team last year. We really, because like, you know, half of production, a lot of production is just pre-production and getting things like, I don't know how to assemble crap. I don't know how to put up a painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so having him on hand, like he has his own like workstation in the back and like can pretty much has all the tools he needs to like put that stuff up. But yeah, it streamlined us a lot. We have a dedicated props person who's just handling, you know, like either getting it from Amazon or running to the store, picking it up. So that part is definitely more efficient. Like we keep everything as much as we can in-house. We don't bring in like makeup people, you know, we don't bring in additional like contractors, you know, it's just like actor, you know, videographer, PA. Like we keep it very lean in that sense, unless we're doing like a bigger shoot. Then we'll maybe bring additional hands on there. You know, then like I'll come in, maybe I'll direct, my wife will come in direct. And so that's kind of like how we operate. The thing that really allowed us to get to where we're at is just the fact that we're all really close as a team. I wouldn't be able to do what we did or do what we do now if it wasn't for like the fact that we as a team are so close. Like we're all kind of like within the similar circles of like friendships and networks and stuff. So we share all the same values. And anytime we brought in someone who wasn't part of that, you know, didn't have the same ideals or values, it just didn't work out. And, you know, we had like at one point there was like over 20 plus in-house people that we were paying full time for. And that's like a massive undertaking. I mean, when you're running that operation, it's gnarly. So we ended up just like, we had to lay off half of our team. But it allowed us to strengthen our communication and our skill sets, which was so invaluable, because it's like the more skill sets an individual can offer, you know, the more agile you can be, right? So it's like in the beginning, it was just me and my existing partner and another partner who doesn't work with us anymore. But for the most part, like I could shoot the video, I could write the video, I can act in the video, I can direct the video, I can edit the video, I can market the video, right? So it's like having all of the skill sets is huge. Because I mean,
that's interesting.
Most production companies, or at least like most production teams, are like small, right? It's like the owner and like, you know, the co-founder, whatever it is, like they're tag teaming the shoots, maybe hiring on extra people for additional help, but like they're doing most of the legwork. My philosophy is like, okay, how do I teach my team as many skills as possible so that they can adapt and they're agile and they can take on more responsibility, so I don't become the bottleneck all the time.
That's really interesting, because I've been having a similar internal discussion with myself in terms of how I prepare the internal processes. So I've been weighing up whether or not it's better to have, like you said, a jack of all trades that has the whole skill set, can do the pre-production stuff, production, post-production, marketing, whatever, everything. So I'm weighing up whether or not it's better to have more people like that, or whether it's better to have dedicated people for dedicated parts of the production process. So like the pre-production people, production, so you have like different teams for different aspects. So yeah, it's interesting that you find that approach to be better. Yeah, maybe it's something that I can think about. But have you tried the other way as well? Have you tried having the sort of key teams? Yeah, your team gets really big when you do it that way. And then what happens is, like, when there's a lull, when it's slow, you don't have those people working on anything. And then you're kind of like scrambling. It's like, okay, just do busy work over here, go clean or do this, right? And it's just not an effective use of your cash. Because like,
yeah, this is a pretty like gnarly business to be in. It's been gnarly since day one for us. Like it's stressful. There's a lot of deadlines, and if customers not happy, reshoots and complaints. I mean, it's a service business, so you got to make sure you're on top of it. But
yeah, totally.
When you break it down into each individual unit, which is ideal from a systematic point of view. Trust me, we've done so many different ways to like systemize it. But we realized there's this book that you can check it out. It's called Lean Media.
Lean Media. I'll jot that down.
Check this out. Like it's interesting. It just talks about how like the old way of producing media or content or anything creative, and the agile approach, which is I've only got so far into the book, but I think the first like 60 pages is pretty valuable. It just kind of reaffirmed a lot of the stuff that we're already doing.
Awesome.
And it's all about scheduling. It's always about scheduling, making sure you have a tight schedule. So we have certain people who are only doing certain things, right? Because what we do is like we have people in their key roles, right? Like their key strengths, but they do other things underneath that, so they can fill in at any time, kind of thing.
Sure.
So, for example, like we have a casting person who does scheduling and casting primarily, like 90% of the time. But if we need her to write shot lists and scripts, like she can jump in there. You know what I mean? If she needs to be in a video, she can be in a video, right? So
sure.
It's like everyone knows how to write. Everyone knows how to write like scripts. Everyone knows how to evaluate their own footage. Everyone knows how to do all that.
Awesome.
Versus like before, we had just writers writing, just shooters shooting, just editors editing, and when you separate the team in a creative like environment, the transfer from point A to point B to point C to point D it's like a game of telephone. Right?
Yeah.
So like you're like, oh, but the writer said this, or I didn't know what the writer was saying. It's like if everyone's not on the same page, it is going to be a really messy outcome. So that's kind of where we messed up for a while, and we just kind of kept it going because it was like an assembly line. We're just like, okay, go.
Yeah.
But what we learned was like, okay, everyone needs to be on the same page, right? So we write the script and then we go over it as a team. We have pre-production meetings and we make sure we're aligned. It's like, okay, good thing we caught this before we even send the scripts to clients as additional, safeguarding quality assurance. And we realized like just the more transparent we can be as a service with our clients, as well as like with the creative process of their team, like the better the outcome. At the end of the day, the client loves to be informed on where they're at, like where the project's at. Some of them don't want to touch it, you know what I mean? That's totally fine. Whereas some, like, they just want to be communicated to. They just want to know what's up.
Yeah, we have that challenge. There's definitely people that just don't want to think about it and like it being outsourced, and there's others that are need hand holding, definitely. But it's interesting. It's interesting to hear you've had the sort of same thoughts around process and the manufacturing line and stuff like that. It's definitely heading towards that sort of direction.
Yeah, because I came in with an e-commerce background and design background. I didn't have production background, so I didn't know. I just applied what I knew to this industry. So like, it just made logical sense to treat it in that format, and we do. I mean, there has to be very, very concrete steps, but another big part of it is like what management system you're using. We were using Trello for a while. Now we're migrating to Asana, and that in and of itself, is a big change for like just operationally speaking. So
100%.
It's a tricky one. It's a challenging one, and it takes years or months to like really perfect. We haven't perfected it yet, but I think ideally, I don't know how big your team is. How big is your team?
We've only got a team of 5 at the moment. Yeah, so we're still just in the early stages.
Nice.
To be fair. So in terms of process and stuff, we're at the very, very beginning in terms of mapping it all out. But I think we've got it pretty tight already in terms of how we're doing stuff. So we're actually able to manage quite a few retainers, which is really good. So
that's where it's at, man. I think that's really where we failed to take advantage of, because just out of naivety from my end as a business owner. And I'm not afraid to admit that, but I realized like retainer is the way to go, because what happened was, not having enough repeat clients. We have repeat clients. They come, here, they'll show up here this month, next month they'll take a break, but the consistent cash flow, right? So when COVID hit, we're like, okay, where's the sales? You know what I mean? So that's awesome. I'm super happy that you're approaching it that way, because that's really where it's at long-term wise.
It's always something, because our strategy before the Your Ads proposition was very much just general production company. Say yes to everything, take on loads of work, and just kind of graft for a while. But then I realized that certain segments are obviously much more profitable than others, and certain segments require a consistent and more long-term need for video as well. And that's where it basically all started from one client that just did really well with some of our ads and needed them more regularly. So we just kind of said, right, let's package this up into something. So it's still like, there's still so much you can do with it, I think, in terms of how you package up the content, because we're trying to figure out a way that makes it appealing to people. But what we did when COVID hit was pivot a little bit. So we also felt a few clients drop off, mainly people that were fashion or like travel orientated products or something like that. And we basically just decided to start doing ad management as well. So
nice.
Yeah, so we've got the Facebook ad management alongside the video stuff, and we're getting some very, very good case studies.
That's
and
awesome.
It was really it was good timing. I don't know why I hadn't done it sooner, but that was when you're talking initially about COVID allowing you to sort of step back and reflect on the strategy. It kind of clicked for me that was actually a much more powerful value proposition if you compare those two together. And what I've noticed now, actually, if you offer the ad management first and sell the content second, people are much more likely to stay on a content retainer for longer, because you're getting the results. You can back it up with data. You can say to them, if you do more video, you're going to get more. The ROAS is going to be better. The CPA is going to come down. All this kind of stuff. So I think moving forward, our strategy is probably going to change a little bit to, I don't know, we might do a sort of funnel for the ad management side first, and then try and upsell the creative rather than the other way around. So yeah, it's just it's interesting. But I've always looked at your model in terms of and wondered if the one-off purchases. Obviously, there's been pros and cons, I think, to both. But I've always wondered if it's better for to allow flexibility, because people, a lot of people might just say, all right, I want a killer. I think you call it like a viral ad or something. And there's one, and then it's like bam. So then that's like, let's say, $1,000 of revenue that you've captured. Whereas if it was with us, they might say, okay, I don't actually want that many deliverables, so I'm going to use. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know which one's the better way of doing it. Yeah. I'm interested to hear what you find with that. It sounds like you have periods of really high demand, periods of low demand. But yeah, how does that kind of work for you guys?
I mean, that's a really good question. One thing I wanted to address is like, it really comes down to, well, for me, it's like, what do I love the most out of the business? Yeah. I used to run ads myself. I've done that whole thing. I came into this not necessarily wanting to be an agency. I came in this actually with the need to pay off debt.
That's interesting.
From dropshipping.
Wow.
Because I was in the hole about $40,000 with my old business partner. And so I came up with the idea, why don't we just shoot the ads ourselves, because no one's doing it. Charge $99, and we'll pay off our debts in like a couple months, and we did. And so it was out of that, like, okay, this need, this like I have to clear this stuff out or I'm in big trouble. But I've always been a creative person. I've always been really passionate about that. And so is my team. My team is they're very creative driven. We don't have as many analytical, which is not like downplay anybody, but like my wife is extremely analytical. Our casting department super analytical. It's like, and so in order to do that side of the business, it would require for us to bring on additional team members, to restructure the whole, just how everything is. We can't possibly handle that many agency type model clients. It's not scalable for us. But we have been migrating to that with clients who have worked with us for like over a year and love our content. Now switching to that model, but actually working more closely with their team. So we know if our creators are performing. So they're still handling the media buying, but now the communication's a lot tighter. But we built this purely on trying to productize, systemize creativity and virality, and documenting every little thing so it's repeatable. And that's what has worked for us. It's by no means easy, and no means like I would never want. I don't. It's not the business model that like I would suggest going into. To anybody who doesn't have that burning desire and burning like need to like want to make it happen, and also like exactly. Like I love being creative. I love what I mean, that but in terms of like where we're at, it's like we have to constantly keep raising our prices, because we just then it becomes a shit show.
A shit show.
It's crazy. At one point, I don't know, we're producing 200, 300 videos a month. You know, it's
Wow.
like, this is insane. When you're in the studio, you have 3 to 4 teams all shooting at the same time. Like it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
And it looks really cool, but sustainability wise, in terms of energy and time and like burnout, has always been on the front lines of our bodies, you know?
Yeah.
So we're always trying to find a way. It's like, okay, now that we kind of understand, you know, it took a very long time to get our team to where they're at now, and we still have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
But we realized, okay, here's what we're really good at, you know, and here's where like we've really helped a lot of our clients. How do we attract more of those types of clients and focus truly on what we're good at? Let other people do what they're good at. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the best at everything. And let's do a kick-ass job for those clients and try to attract more of those clients who see our value and see our worth. So that's the direction that we're headed in. And we, you know, I encourage, like, I reached out to you because I'm like, okay, I would love to refer you business, you know, things that we can't handle or things that are more suitable for your team. So understanding what your guys' strengths are, where you can fulfill a big need in the market, I'm all about that. You know, I send people to Tingly Media, who's more affordable than us. I send people over to Welling Media, who have like really upscale products that, you know, I feel like they would handle very much, like they would handle way more professionally than us. Then, you know, if you guys have a certain pocket in the marketplace that you know, we could refer you to, then by all means, it's a win-win for everybody, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting you say that. I'm not, in terms of positioning, we've always been, I mean, in terms of our ideal client, we have quite like sort of strict sort of characteristics. And I imagine there's maybe some overlap with you guys as well, but you know, we tend to focus on teams that are less than 20 in size, or businesses that have teams that have, that sort of size. Revenue normally between 500K and 2 million.
Nice.
And normally it's products that are solving a clear problem. So that's a weird, like, subjective one, but it's normally when I see a product that I think is like super sick, that could get traction really quickly, that's normally for me a good sign, because basically if the product does well and they're still in their early stages, the likelihood is when they do video, they're going to want to do video for a long time, especially if they get traction early doors. So yeah, I don't know, it's a kind of a weird one. I think I'm not sure where we're positioned in relation to you, and Welling sounds like they're really good. They're insane. Like you said, I presume they're more high ticket stuff. Maybe it's somewhere in between you and Welling or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a slightly different business model. Maybe it's geographic. You know, we're based in the UK, so we've got one Canadian client. So like, I don't think we'll be branching out to the US anytime soon or anything like that. So, but yeah. What about you guys in terms of positioning? Where do you, like, what kind of clients do you tend to pick up? Is it like the dropshipping dudes, or is it what kind of people?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I think as you are in the industry and as a business owner, you'll start to define that more clearly through the losses and the wins. You know, you'll have a lot of those. You'll have a lot of losses, but the key wins will help you define who you really want to attract. But for us, you know, we get a lot of drop shippers for sure. We get a lot of the bigger drop shippers who basically are looking for, you know, either their content isn't authentic and you know, they're looking, because the dropshipping world, if you get docked, if you get copyright infringement, you've lost your account, you've lost the game, right? So we try to go in there and tighten up. I mean, obviously provide original creatives and try to do something, outdo their existing creative. That's a challenge for us. We love the creative challenge. That's why we don't necessarily limit ourselves to what we can and can't shoot. The only tricky things are the things that are very like borderline uncompliant, like CBD or like sex products or something like that. But for the most part, we never limit ourselves to the product. We always see it as like, okay, this is cool. What can we do with this? Versus like, you know, if we handpicked every single one, we would have to turn down a lot of people.
Definitely.
But the positioning that we are at, it's like, you know, we understand there's a huge demand for video. We understand that entrepreneurs don't know a dingleberry from a video, you know what I mean? And we understand how powerful it is, right? And a lot of people, they're just one step away from really making it work, but have either they lack the awareness, they lack the education, they lack the clarity on what's the next step. Either they have a great product, they have a great website, maybe they've gotten some traction, but they can be getting more traction, and they have a great video to just like take off. We also look at people who are in the Amazon space who have no idea how Facebook ads work and want to enter that space. So it's like having, they're two different mindsets. Amazon sellers are like very analytical. Facebook people are very like creative, dopamine driven. So it's like, you know, we really try to be the bridge to that next stage in their business, right?
Cool.
So when we produce great creatives for people, and you know they already have traction, or you know, oftentimes if like they're just getting started and they get a video from us and they actually start to see traction, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't think it would work. You know, that makes us really, really happy. But ultimately, it's like, okay, great, we had success. Awesome. How can we continue to have success? How do we, you know, how do we get you more assets for your media buying team to really pump up the scalability? So you're not having ad fatigue. You're not like constantly putting out new creatives. So we've kind of created certain packages for that. And so dropshippers, Amazon sellers, brands, we definitely don't work with too many like upscale brands. You know, we have in the past, and I think that's something we're slowly starting to understand. It's a different mindset. It's a different type of customer. It's a different type of just creative in general. You know what I mean? Like the elegance, the simplicity, the, you know, the expectations, the messaging, like that is a very refined pocket of the industry. That I think probably you guys and Chandler are better suited to do. We love like the quick, like dopamine, like funny, like action-packed, demonstrative. You know what I mean? We do all of that, which really gets us going. But you know, we're stepping into the more like bigger brands, bigger brand world, and trying to learn from the experts and try to like incorporate more of that into our repertoire.
Definitely. Yeah. No. I agree. Yeah. I think. Your ads are they definitely stand out in terms of the funny side, or like that sort of it's like the modern take on like a kind of infomercial vibe, isn't it? Kind of like fast paced. No, really good. Interesting. So interesting. Yeah, we should have these conversations more regularly, I think. I feel like there's a lot to like unpick where we could share value.
100%.
In terms of your, I mean, I feel like I've been grilling you with questions. Do you have any questions for me?
No, you don't get the chance to talk to a lot of people in the same industry. So, you know, for me, it's just, if I can offer any value to someone, you know, who's just getting started or has traction and looking for guidance in any way, that's my jam. So, but yeah, I mean, for you, if you have any questions, like, I don't know, maybe we can talk about it privately, but like what do you offer in terms of like your services? So I know this in the back of my mind, like this is your price point. This is, you know, this is what you can actually execute on, because we're at a point where it's like we're at max capacity. So we might have to turn people down and send people your way, given that if it's reasonable for our customers and our leads. You know, some people are price sensitive, some people are not. Some people it's like a perfect fit. Some people are like, this is way too expensive, and some people are like, this is too cheap. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. Over the years, you've learned to put all of the e-commerce entrepreneurs in certain buckets, and we can't fit every bucket, but we know if there's a bucket that we can't fulfill, we have someone in there who can fill that bucket for that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, strategic partners. Yes, yeah, we have similar sort of relationships here as well. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. But, I think just like sending that over to me, you know, privately would be awesome. What else did I have? What do you guys have in terms of like what equipment are you using for like cameras and stuff?
Yeah, so we shoot primarily we shoot all Canon, 1DX Mark IIs mostly, and in terms of like locations and models and stuff. So one of the big things that we push is so we built relationships with basically a bunch of different Airbnbs around the city that we're based. And we have this management agency that manages Airbnbs. So we've built relationships with the agencies and the direct homeowners. So on any given month, we have access to, you know, a whole range of different locations around our city. And we've also started, rather than going to modeling agencies, we just build up a big database directly, so that we can, and this is all in there, monday.com. I don't know if you've heard of monday.com, but that's what we use for all of our processes. So those two things in combination is actually quite a big value point, because we just have access like on demand whenever we want to like all of these different bits of information, and we can put it in a brief, and then the client can be like, cool, that looks good. Model choice is great, talent choice is great, and then the location looks good. And then we can kind of switch up every month. And it tends to be relatively low cost. I similar to you, I love like a lean business model. So it's all for me, it's about minimizing fixed overheads. And anything that I could do on a sort of hourly or day rate or something like that, I really like. You know, long term, if you were doing something, you know, if you had loads and loads of clients, you want to do something at scale, then you probably need to think about economies of scale and efficiency and something a bit more like your model. But I think for now, given given where we are geographically as well, it's really good that we just tap into those different types of places, different like looking Airbnbs and stuff as well. So yeah, so that's probably one of the big bits of like value in inverted commas I'd say we've built into our business model. But yeah, in terms of pricing and stuff like that, I think all of it is on the website. So you can have a look at kind of where we're positioned. And yeah, feel free if you need to overspill to us, we can talk about like a commission model or something, or revenue share of clients as well, so that you're getting some sort of payback for leads. And if there's anyone that you think might be, obviously, I'm sure you guys are looking at the retainer model as well at some point, but if there's anyone you think might want a large number of deliverables on a monthly basis, or is based geographically like this way, so it's easier to send products to us or whatever, we're open to that. And equally, we do get a lot of clients doing sort of FBA or drop shipping and stuff like that maybe I could send your way as well. So
one thing just came to mind. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
We get requests a lot, like if we can get British speakers,
okay,
and British models and stuff like that. We have I think we have like a handful of native British speakers, but you guys are based in the UK. If I know we get that request a lot. So if you guys have access, obviously you guys have access to that native British speakers, like that's a huge, I would say, like I would just send them over your way.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a big one. I mean, honestly, people with British accents sound way more credible. I like that. You're way smarter than me.
Yeah.
So I think that's funny. But no, I appreciate that. The partnering with Airbnbs, never thought of that. We usually just treat it like we're a guest in the house, but we tend to try to keep everything within our control. And then if we need to do off location stuff, then that's like kind of another process. But
sure.
The database stuff, if you guys are pretty much like handling all of your models in house, or like doing all of your postings and stuff. Yeah. That we've been building that up for a while. Cool. What else? Yeah, Monday. That's solid, dude. Yeah. I have like. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Karen. We're both too polite. I was going to say, so one of the main things I'm building at the moment, I actually had someone interested in acquisition of the business a couple of weeks ago. It was just completely too early and that sort of stuff. But one of his main piece of advice was I need to automate the sales process more, because he thinks people aren't going to take action from the website directly. It's not going to go straight into buying or a retainer or without knowing who we are and stuff like that. So I know you guys do this way better than us in terms of your marketing funnel, and I see your Facebook ads pop up on my feed all the time, Google ads, and then you have obviously your big click funnel. Was that something you sorted out early doors, or is that kind of something you've developed over time? And like what proportion of your leads and stuff come through that funnel as well?
It's a great question. I think I literally just talked to one of our partners, email marketing partners, about this, because their focus is more on like the back end retainer stuff, which hasn't been our strength, but we're really like, I would say, pretty confident in our front end marketing. That was all I knew at the time. So, I built the ClickFunnels website in like a day, and then I knew how to run ads. So for the most part, like that's always been my bread and butter. But then it just kind of worked out in a way that like, okay, if your price point is low enough, people will buy directly on the website, right? When we were offering $99 to like people still buy on their own, but as you raise the price, as you increase the value, the conversations are really necessary to make that extra push, right? Either Facebook Messenger, being on top of Facebook Messenger all the time, having VAs who are very good, well trained, and then setting up sales calls like from anything, you know what I mean? Like getting people on the phone is really what gets the sale at the end of the day. So automating that, with the front end ads, the lead captures, the autoresponders, that should just be going in the background at all times, and then just building up your lead list, so to speak. So we've obviously built a decent size like email list that now is our asset in case we ever wanted to push out promotions, notifications, new changes. So that's a big one. The Facebook group for us, we've been slowly reviving, getting people engaged in there. It's a conversation, you know what I mean? Conversions happen with conversations, and at the end of the day, we try to treat everybody. It's as a person, you know what I mean? If we try to treat everything like a data point, that's what a lot of like people in e-commerce don't realize, that maybe you're just starting out. Like when you look at your Facebook analytics or like your Facebook dashboard and you see, CPA or CPM's too high and cost per click's too high. Like, it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, you're not taking the time to really understand who you're talking to. And, all it takes is just getting someone on a phone call, reassuring them, offering the value, showing what you can offer, and like being very, I would say, like being prompt with your follow-ups and making sure you have like multiple re-follow-ups in your emails and trying to get people on phone calls as well. Again, any questions you guys have about our service, like here's some examples that we've done, check out, this new tour, hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Like, people are busy, right? Just as much as people are busy on Facebook, scrolling through, that one interaction from your ad isn't going to convert. But in the back of their minds, they know who you are. The awareness is there. Like you said, you see your ads all the time. I've never come in contact with you. But, we have a lot of people who are like, we've been waiting to get a video from you guys for like a year. Or, we've been following you since day one. We're finally ready to get a video with you guys. Amazing. That's so exciting. Cool. Like, let's get on a phone call. Let's figure out what you need and let's service you, right? So it is, the sales process can certainly be automated as long as you have solid like brand awareness happening at all times. You have a solid follow-up system, automated autoresponder, and you have really you have really good salespeople who care about the success of the person. They care about the well-being of the person, and that they're consistent and that they're following up. Because people are busy, they forget. So yeah, that's something that we're working on right now, training a sales guy to salesperson to help fill in the gap. But yeah, man, if you need any help with that, like I'm here available.
Yeah, it's definitely sounds like your area. The ad stuff that I've always done has been for B2C brands. So B2B ads is something I am weirdly apprehensive about for doing for my own business. I don't know why. It's almost like a mental block that I put on myself. But I'm very aware that I need to start automating the lead gen, because every client we're getting at the moment requires a lot of back and forth. It's normally pretty specific in terms of the targeting, sales navigator, cold email outreach, that kind of stuff. It's just the old way of doing things that takes a lot of time. So I think I need to leverage the tools now that are available to me. So interesting, very, very interesting.
One thing that I'll share with you that I don't obviously haven't shared this stuff with anybody else, but I'm happy to, is we don't really look for a direct conversion like you would in e-commerce on Facebook ads, right, or Google ads. Like we'll definitely get we're always positive in our ROAS, but for the most part, like it's just having that constant awareness happening at all times that we're there, we're here. And a lot of the times the retargeting actually gets the sale. Well, actually probably 90% of the time, the retargeting gets the sale for us, for the B2B side, whether that's social proof, whether that's added value, whether that's, swipes or whatever it is. If you can offer additional value from that second, third, fourth, fifth touch point, like you're going to get someone in the door. So that's my advice is like, if you start to dial in your front end marketing, learn from what we're doing and, try to make it unique in your own way with unique messaging. And I think it'll be a home run.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you.
Of course.
I'll definitely let you know how I get on. At the moment, I think, obviously, you guys are probably a bit further ahead in terms of your journey, but I'm still very much stuck in the operations, the day-to-day, organizing the shoots, doing everything, jack of all trades. So I'm trying to take myself out of the business as quickly as I can, but it definitely feels hard. It's fucking hard, man. It's definitely it's really hard.
Here's my advice. I've always been trying to do that since day one, but I haven't 100% successfully been able to do that. You know what I mean? It's just the nature of the game. If you have that in mind, though, you're always going to be working towards that, which will accumulate month after month after month after year. You'll slowly get to that point. But it's all about what you're going to learn along the way, right? If you're really committed to making this a success, then, the mindset should be how to become the best possible service to our clients, right?
Yeah.
And building the team and training the team to a point where, I can take my foot off the gas pedal and I can trust in my team. That's really what it comes down to. And then you handle the marketing, you handle the growth, you handle the strategic partners, all that stuff. But
definitely.
It's going to be rough, and you're going to be in every part of the business at 24/7 for the first year and a half. You know what I mean? Like that's just the name of the game. But if I can lend any value, guidance in that way, I'm here, brother.
Nice. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's refreshing. Yeah, it's very refreshing to hear that you're sort of open to the conversation, which is good. Very good.
Man. Hey, I have one request, Ryan. Do you mind if I actually shared this in the private Facebook group and tagged you and tagged your company and stuff?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, it's been great having a catch up. I think equally, if you need any sort of support on anything or advice or a different perspective on a challenge, then let me know as well, because it's good to share these sort of things for sure.
100%. I'll reach out to you regarding the Facebook media buying aspect. Handling that sector of the business.
Nice.
Still new to that in terms of building a team and systems around that. So I'll definitely I'll pick your brain on that on another time. But
nice.
I got another call in 5 minutes. But I appreciate your authenticity and your openness, and
Yeah, likewise.
looking forward to collaborating in the future, brother.
Definitely. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, good to chat, man.
All right, man.
Have a good day.
Nice meeting you, Ryan. Take care.
Yeah, you too.